I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this store before. It used to be all over the world, and at its peak, there were 3,500 Sears stores across the world. They were in the United States, in Canada, and in Mexico. If you were from 1907 or 1966 or 1984 or 1994 or 2004 or 2010, you would remember them. They were all over the places in malls, shopping centers. But whatever did happen to Sears? That's what we are going to find out today, but first, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. It all started with a man named Richard W. Sears, who, in 1886, founded the R.W. Sears Watch Company in Minneapolis, Minnesota. His initial venture was to sell watches by mail order. It was a modest beginning, but little did he know he was laying the foundation for one of the most iconic retailers in American history. In 1887, Richard Sears relocated his business to the bustling city of Chicago, where he brought Alva C. Roebuck on board to repair watches. This partnership evolved, giving birth to a mail-order business not only for watches but also for jewelry. And in the same year, 1887, the company published its very first catalog. The early success of this mail-order operation led to the birth of Sears, Roebuck & Company in 1893, after Richard Sears returned from briefly selling his business. In 1895, the company saw a pivotal change when Julius Rosenwald, a wealthy clothing manufacturer, bought out Roebuck's interest and reorganized the mail-order business. Meanwhile, Richard Sears was becoming famous for the catalogs he wrote, a remarkable marketing tool. The company flourished as it offered a diverse range of merchandise at competitive prices. It was a lifeline to farms and villages that had no other convenient access to retail outlets. The introduction of rural free delivery in 1896 and parcel post in 1913 by the U.S. Postal Service opened up new horizons for Sears, allowing them to serve even the most isolated customers. In 1909, Julius Rosenwald succeeded Richard Sears as the president of the company. But the real turning point came in the 1920s when General Robert E. Wood joined the company. Wood recognized the potential in suburban expansion as automobiles made retail outlets in urban centers more accessible to those living in outlying areas. In 1925, Sears opened its first retail store in Chicago, and the number of stores multiplied rapidly. By 1931, retail sales had surpassed mail-order sales, and Sears had become a household name, a retail giant that seemed unstoppable. It continued to thrive, especially during the post-World War II economic boom. For several decades, it stood as America's largest retailer. However, challenges lay ahead for Sears, particularly in the 1980s. It was a time when it diversified into various businesses, from real estate to financial services. In 1992, the company began selling off some subsidiaries to concentrate on its core retail operations. By 1993, it even discontinued its iconic general catalog. In 1995, Sears spun off one of its largest subsidiaries, the Allstate Corporation, which was originally founded by Sears in 1931. This period also saw Sears providing repair services not only for automobiles but also for household items such as appliances, electronic equipment, and home heating and cooling systems. Fast forward to 2002, when Sears made a significant move by purchasing the retailer Land's End for nearly $2 billion. This was followed by a major acquisition in 2005 when Sears was bought by Kmart for approximately $12 billion, creating the newly formed Sears Holdings Corporation, which became the third largest retailer in the United States. But even with these major mergers, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Over time, sales at Kmart and Sears stores started declining. Edward S. Lampert, who controlled nearly 40% of the corporation, initiated a series of controversial moves. These included stock buybacks, which some insiders argued left Sears Holdings cash-strapped. Additionally, the corporation began selling various assets, and in 2014, it spun off Land's End. That same year, Lampert purchased a controlling stake in Sears Canada, but it met its end in 2018. During this tumultuous period, various Sears stores across the United States were shuttered. Finally, in October 2018, Sears Holdings filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. It seemed like the end of an era.